Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Cece. I wanted to put together a video of short story collections that would be great for fall time. These are all short stories that have like lots of atmosphere, kind of creepy, spooky vibes. I'm pretty sure all of these are classics. Some of them I've read, some of them I haven't. So let's go ahead and get into what I've got. The first one that I'm going to mention is this collection by Henry James. This is The Turn of the Screw and Other Short Fiction Stories. Now, I have read The Turn of the Screw years ago, and I honestly don't like that story, but I know it is very popular. A lot of people do like it. It's, you know, a classic for a reason. So I did want to mention this. I'm just not the biggest fan of Henry James's writing style, but his stories are really good for this time of year. The next one I wanted to mention is Washington Irving. This one is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Other Selections. This is one of my all-time favorite books ever. I try to read Sleepy Hollow every fall because it is, in my opinion, the most atmospheric fall read. The way that he describes New York in the fall is perfection. So yeah, I have read several of his stories and I love the way that Washington Irving writes. He's part of the Romantic period and the writers during that time are my favorite. I just love that style of writing. One of my favorite stories in here is a very short story called The Devil and Tom Walker. I really recommend that one for this time of year, especially because it is eerie, but it's not like today's standards of horror or anything like that. It's a classic, so it's a lot safer to read. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Definitely one of my favorites. Next, it would not be one of my videos without this, and it is Sherlock Holmes. Of course, you've got to read some Sherlock Holmes in the fall. There is just something about his hat and his pipe and his cozy apartment, and when he's out running on the moors, all the atmosphere, all the coziness. I want to live in his apartment. I want to decorate my house like his apartment. Just everything about it is so cozy to me. This is just the epitome of fall cozy vibes. So even if the stories aren't necessarily set in fall, it's just very fall. Next one is Nathaniel Hawthorn, another one of my all-time favorites. I love The House of Seven Gables, and I read The Scarlet Letter when I was in high school, and I remember liking it in high school, and I wasn't like a big reader then. Also, I have read a few of the stories in this collection, and I think my favorite was one called Young Goodman Brown, so I definitely recommend that for fall. And look at this cover. Doesn't that just give you the vibes? He was also part of the Romantic period. And I want to say he knew Washington Irving. A lot of these writers during this time knew each other, hung out with each other. So I just think that's fascinating. They all kind of had similar writing styles. So definitely love Nathaniel Hawthorn for this time of year. This next one is more of a modern classic, and that is Shirley Jackson. This book is called Dark Tales. This honestly is not my favorite of her short story collections. Like her most famous one, I believe, is The Lottery. That's not in this book. This book is a collection of short stories that she was writing when she passed away. So some of them feel unfinished because they were unfinished. I was reading this book and I was like, this is ending really weird. Why is it ending like this? And then I did some research on it and I found out that not all of these were finished. So there are some really good stories in here though. Some of them, you know, that's how it is with all short story collections though. You're not going to love every one, but the vibes, I mean, look at this cover. The vibes. Next one is this. There's a glare. Edward Gorey's Haunted Looking Glass. This is a collection of ghost stories chosen and illustrated by Edward Gorey. And I don't know who that is, but the authors in here, there's Charles Dickens, there is Wilkie Collins, there is Bram Stoker, Robert Louis Stevenson. A lot of these classic authors wrote ghost stories. That was just a very popular type of tale back in the day. So I'm looking forward to reading this because there's a whole lot of stories in here I haven't read, and this book in particular has illustrations This one is the monkey's paw. Look at that. I love illustrations like this, the old black and white. It's the same with Sherlock Holmes. The illustrations in his books are like these sketches. I love that. So there is that one. Next, I definitely have to mention this because it wouldn't be fall without Edgar Allan Poe. But this is a collection of Poe's stories. And look at this book. Isn't this gorgeous? I got this at the Edgar Allan Poe Museum in Richmond years ago. I also got this wooden bookmark when I was there. Isn't that pretty? It says, "All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream." That is a famous quote from Poe in one of his stories. So yeah, I love, love, love Poe. I grew up in Baltimore. Poe was a big staple in Baltimore because that's where he lived at the end of his life. That's where he died. That's why the Baltimore Ravens football team is named the Ravens. It's after Poe. So I grew up on Poe. He also is one of the very first mystery authors out there. So yeah, I love Poe, especially at this time of year. His stories are very creepy, but never disappoint. This one is a fun find that I picked up at a thrift store a few years ago. 100 Malicious Little Mysteries. This is mysteries selected by Isaac Asimov. So he's mostly known for his science fiction. Didn't know that he had anything to do with mystery, but apparently he did. And this, of course, is short mysteries written by all kinds of authors. I'm definitely excited to try this. I don't think I've read any of the stories out of this collection, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of stuff Isaac Asimov will pick. This one is one of my favorites. This is Alfred Hitchcock's Spellbinders and Suspense, Stories of Mystery and Excitement, selected by the Master of Suspense. I love Alfred Hitchcock movies, all the old black and white suspense. He really did suspense really well. He wasn't like gory, anything like that. It was all about the thrill. And I really appreciate that. So I've watched a lot of his movies with my daughter. I've gotten her hooked on Alfred Hitchcock, and that's been a lot of fun. So when I found this book, I was very excited because I didn't know that this existed. This also has illustrations. I think I read one story out of this book last year or the year before, and it actually did creep me out. It was quite creepy. It was about a man who would take fingers in like bets. It's very weird. But yeah, if you were looking for a very suspenseful kind of collection, try Alfred Hitchcock. And last but not least, another one of my all-time favorites is Daphne du Maurier. This is Classics of the Macabre. This is, again, illustrated. This is a bunch of her stories, and it has Don't Look Now. It has the birds. That's so fun. I love the birds book and the movie. They're quite different, though. Here's one of the illustrations from this one. Isn't that weird? This one is from a story called The Blue Lens. Bizarre. I don't even know what that's about. But yeah, I definitely want to read some more out of this book. This page is from The Birds. Just so atmospheric. I love Daphne du Maurier's writing. Rebecca is one of my all-time favorite books. And Rebecca also is very fall. Definitely gives you the atmospheric vibes. So yeah, these are just some of my short story collections from authors that I really love. I really wanted to share these with you if you're looking for super atmospheric, chilling, suspenseful short reads. If you're looking for just like a little quick, taste of fall, try one of these authors, try one of these stories. Also, let me know if you have a favorite short story or a collection that you love, especially if it's, kind of atmospheric. Leave that down below. I'd love if we could share that sort of thing. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.